Alright, so excuse the mess in my garage. It's a nightmare in here. It's downpouring outside right now. I got pretty lucky I got home just in time. But here is the trimmer holder that I made for my 60-inch zero turn. And the reason why I made this thing is because I have a lot of large properties I do with it, ranging anywhere between 2 acres to 10 acres. And just for an example, like today I was at a 6-acre property, and the guy wants everything trimmed around. The house, obviously, there's a shed and a greenhouse that's kind of far away from the house. There is a warehouse in the back of the property. The mailbox and 4 marigolds are up towards the front of the property. Then there's 4 water main pipes and an electrical pole up towards the other end of the front of the property, if that makes any sense. And there are 23 oak trees, which the oak trees you can't really get close with to the mower because the roots kind of stick up pretty high. So I have to trim around all that stuff. And the oak trees are kind of scattered. There's like 5 here, then there's a group of 3 over here, you know, 1 giant one over here. There's 2 in the front over here, then there's 4 over here in the front. So they're just kind of scattered everywhere. And having the ability to carry the trimmer around with me while I'm cutting saves a lot of time and a lot of walking. Because before, I would just cut the property and then go back and trim everything. I would have to walk the entire 6-acre property because stuff is just scattered everywhere. And when it's 90 plus degrees outside and you're walking around a 6-acre property trimming everything, it sucks. So being able to have this with me while I'm cutting grass, I'll come up to like a patch of 3 oak trees. I'll stop, get off, trim around those trees real quick, keep on cutting grass, and then I'll come up to like a patch of 3 or 4 oak trees. I'll stop, trim around that, then I'll hop back on this, start cutting grass again. And it saved me a lot of time and a lot of walking and a lot of sweat. So I'm definitely happy I built it. Today was the first day of using it. I just picked up this FS91R trimmer before I came home, which is why it's so clean. I actually took my FS70 with me today, but here's basically what I did. I just used some 1-inch by 1-inch box tubing. I made this kind of weird looking A-frame, and then where this bolt is and where those 2 bolts are, the holes in the frame of the mower were already actually there. These 2 were for the heat shield that would guard that muffler, which I can still put the heat shield back on. I just left it off for today. And then that hole right there was just an empty hole, kind of like that. So I just went ahead and utilized that since it was there. Then I just ran some flat stock up, and then this U piece is actually this, which this is off of an old race car that I had. It's a piece of a universal drive shaft loop, which I know a lot of you people don't have access to this if you want to build something like this, but you can probably just take a thinner piece of flat stock and bend it around a pipe or something. It'll work the same way. But it would bolt together like this, and the drive shaft would run through it, through the center of it. And I went to the Dollar Tree, picked up a pool noodle, which I just ripped up, and I wrapped it around the U shape just to give it some cushion, and then I covered it in Gorilla Tape so the trimmer wouldn't rip up the pool noodle over time. And for the front here, I just made this kind of weird looking captain hook looking thing, and I bolted it to the body of the mower. It's just a piece of flat stock with a piece of solid pipe running up, and this is actually a skinnier piece of pipe that I just bent, and again I put a piece of pool noodle in there to give it some cushion, wrapped it up with Gorilla Tape. Now behind these bolts, I mean, I can get my entire hand up in there, so there's plenty of room to run a bolt through it and have a nut behind there, and it works great. I'll throw my FS70 up here Yeah, and it pretty much just sits on there like that. I was kind of concerned that it might pop out and just kind of fall off like that, but I had it on the trailer just like this, and riding down the road from job to job, it never popped off. And then up here, it's I mean, it turns a little bit, but the body of the trimmer where it corners right here actually stops it. And again on this side, so the corn, you know, it doesn't spin all the way around. And it works pretty much the same way for my FS91. Just sits in there like that. It does twist around a little bit, but I mean, it doesn't. It takes force to spin it all the way around like that. It holds it in there pretty tight. And whenever I built it, I was kind of concerned about the trimmer guard coming past the deck, so I made sure that it was pretty much in line with the deck and the trimmer guard, so whenever I come close to a tree or a bush or something, it doesn't whack the trimmer guard or whatever. But you can also turn the trimmer like that, so you don't have any of those issues, and you're still, pull this cover off, you still have plenty of clearance for the pulley whenever the deck is all the way up. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and really easy to make. Oh, another thing too is it's got clearance from the handle and the roll bar, also clearance from the trimmer shaft and the plastics of the mower. A little fender here, it's got clearance. If you want to raise your roll bar up, you can actually do that also with the trimmer still on there, in case you're doing a sketchy hill or something you're worried about rolling over. And if you want to make one of these, it's really easy to do. All you need is a welder, and it maybe cost me 25-30 bucks in materials and bolts and a pool noodle to make it. But yeah, it's really easy to do, and it maybe took me about an hour. So if you want to make one, I hope this helped you out.